Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back again. We're live here in the studio in North Palm Beach, Florida. We're going to be on for a while, 2 hours, Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. We start at 8 a.m., which is right about now, 8 to 10, and we stream. We're all over the place. You can get us you can get us on YouTube, youtube.com/Earl on Cars. We have a huge following there. You can also Zoom us, and Nancy Stewart, my co-host here, will explain to you the details of this new technology. It's new to us. Will you be able to Zoom us and see us, and we see you? Chit-chat, face to face. That's a lot of fun. A lot of folks just like to text us, and we welcome text. Some of our most intelligent, informative, entertaining also communications are text. So write this number down. If you haven't got time to text us now, text us later. We'll get to the text before the end of the show. So I say we're on from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's a long time. So sometimes we don't get to the text right away, but by the end of the show, we usually do. So that text number, 772-497-6530, 772-497-6530. I also have a unusual number that the regulars know all about, our anonymous feedback number. And this is hopefully to get information, comments, criticisms, whatever you want to say from everybody. Some people don't like to be identified. Some people value their privacy. A lot of people. There's nothing wrong with that. Privacy is important, very important to a lot of people. So if you just don't want people bugging you, and you would like to be able to make a comment, you can use youranonymousfeedback.com. YOURANONYMOUS. Just like it sounds, youranonymousfeedback.com. Write that down, and we can't find you. You can attack us. You can even use profanity and obscenity. I'm not going to read the profanity and the obscenity, but I'll allude to it on the anonymous feedback. But seriously, I know a lot of people just like to comment. 90% of our anonymous feedbacks are not stuff like that. But, car dealers listen, car salespeople listen. Funny story, Nancy and I took delivery of a cyber truck last week, the Tesla Cybertruck, and we went to the Tesla dealership in West Palm Beach. I say Tesla dealership, it's owned by Tesla. It's not a regular car dealership. It's owned by the manufacturer. So we went in there to take delivery, and sure enough, the salesperson, the young lady we spoke to, we had mystery shopped. And she said, "Oh, I know who you are." She says, "I was scared to death." She says, "Oh, I'm so happy you gave me a good report." So we did give them a good report when we mystery shopped them 2 or 3 years ago. She's been there for about 5 years, and she does do a great job. We'll talk about that, by the way. Nancy and I both were in the Tesla dealership and taking delivery of a new Cybertruck, and it's a different experience, totally different than what you would experience when you buy from a normal car dealer. I'm starting to digress and wander now. I'm going to give you the main telephone number, then I'm going to introduce Nancy. And that main telephone number, this is the heart of the show. The heart of the show is the old-fashioned telephone. I don't care. I know. You got Zoom. I know you got the digital. You got anonymous feedback. But the old telephone, there's something about it. The personality comes through. We have some regular callers that we really love and value. And we also have a lot of new callers that use the old-fashioned telephone. And that number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. And if you please write that number down, and I promise you, if you just listen a little bit, you'll think of a few things that you'd like to comment about. And if you're brave enough to be on live radio, which is the only drawback about this number is you're live on the radio. First few shows that Nancy and I did 20 years ago, we were terrified. I mean, when you think about thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people listening to your every word, you say something stupid, you're in serious trouble. So if you can overcome that, write this number down, 877-960-9960, and Nancy will prioritize your call. And whatever we're doing, Rick Kearney, by the way, who I didn't mention, I mention now, Rick Kearney is our certified diagnostic master technician. He can answer anything on your vehicle, anything. I mean, if you've got a high-tech truck, you got a old-fashioned 25-year-old car, you got something with carburetors, and or you got something with computers. He covers the spectrum. He's been doing what he does, a certified diagnostic master technician, for over 25 years. So he knows it all. If you got a problem you want to be diagnosed that you don't want to have to pay a lot of money for, get a free diagnosis from Rick. And again, that number is 877-960-9960. And now I'm turning the microphone over to my co-host, Nancy Stewart, a very, very strong female advocate, and she will tell you why I say that in just a second.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. You're an important part of the show, and we truly mean that you make the show. So give us a call toll-free at 877-960-9960. And ladies, for you this morning, our way of thanking you is offering you $50 for the first two new lady callers. That's $50 for the first two new lady callers. And you can also text us at 772-497-6530. And this morning, if you are joining us via Zoom and you have a question, please use the chat function by clicking on the icon at the bottom of your screen, your Zoom screen, so that Jonathan, our producer, can get your name and your location, all that information. Jonathan will chat with you and let you know when it will be your turn to ask a question. And the first two new Zoom callers, you too can win yourself $100. That Zoom number, 926-589-0586. That's 926-589-0586. We have our mystery shopping report to get to, and we also are excited about our dog of the week from Big Dog Ranch. Major will be with us, via video. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
Yeah, the dog used to be in the studio for you regular listeners that have been out listening for a while, and every now and then we get a very large dog, and this is a very small studio, and every now and then we get a rambunctious dog, so it was kind of chaotic, and I guess for safety's sake, we decided...
Large, big tails, and a lot of tripods and wires don't mix.
Yeah. Tails are a lot more powerful than you give them credit for. They can knock stuff all over the place. So.
It's my life at home. Coffee table is you can't put anything on there.
Yeah. So anyway, if you dog lovers out there, stay tuned, because Big Dog Ranch Rescue is the largest no-kill shelter anywhere. I could go on and on and on. I got to be careful because I get so emotional about what a Big Dog Ranch Rescue does for dogs that I get carried away. This is a show about cars, but we do this because it's just such a special place, Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And again, the Zoom factor that we have here is Nancy just covered that. Did you talk about the female callers?
I did.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Yeah. We're up to 50-50 now on female callers.
I'll tell them again, $50 for the first two new female callers.
Yeah, and no strings attached. No strings attached. Nancy will personally write you a check and send it to you for the first two female callers, and we love to see the ladies' perspective on buying cars. Our mystery shopper, the Agent Lightning, by the way, is a woman, and this mystery shopping report coming up that Stu is in charge of, our cyber shopper, And this mystery shopping report coming up, Agent Lightning actually bought a car. We kept talking about this because when you do a mystery shop, we typically go up to the point of buying the car. But some of the atrocities that occur during buying a car occur in the F&I office, in the financial insurance department. This is where you really get zonked sometimes if you're not careful. So a lot of times we don't get the nitty-gritty what happens in what we call the box. That's where you think you bought the car, you think you've signed everything, you think you're just thinking about going home.
Yeah, I think she spent 3.5 hours purchasing.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was approaching. Yeah, it was over 3.
Yeah.
It wasn't, and that wasn't a good 3.
No.
Like sometimes you can have a good time and it could stretch out, but
Like
not in this case. But I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah. But it's true. It's good that we did this. Obviously, we can't do it every week because we'd be buying a lot of cars.
Right.
And
A lot of cars.
And so, but we actually, or Agent Lightning actually bought the car. So we'll tell you that much, and then you'll hear more about the what happened, and then we vote on the mystery shopping report at the end of the report. So. We've got a lot of other interesting stuff on the show today, and I always bring my consumer reports. Nancy and I get 2 consumer reports. We like it so much because we fight over the one issue, so we decide to have 2. And the current report is on safety, buying a safe car. And I always say, buy the car that you want. The cars aren't all about practicality. Buy a car that you enjoy, but you can't ignore safety. If there's one thing that I would do if I were a real buyer, being a car dealer, which I am, I'm not a real buyer, but if I were a real buyer, I would positively check the safest cars. And the current Consumer Reports list the safest cars. And just to give you a little idea of the cars they tested, some cars will stop 25 feet sooner than other cars. Now think about that for a minute. I mean, so 25 feet. Think about railroad tracks. Think about head-on collisions. I mean, is it amazing to you as it is to me that you can buy a new car that's legitimately, the government says it's okay to buy, but the car stops 25 further down the road than another car. Now, I don't know about you. I'd want my child or my spouse or my friend, whoever is driving the car that I'm buying, I'd want them to be able to stop a little faster than 25 feet, other than the car maybe that I should have bought. So if you look at the October Consumer Reports, you'll find something that at least you'll find the cars you should not buy. So, where are we now on text, or anybody got any?
Yeah, I could jump over to Anne Marie's text. I was texting somebody myself. Anne Marie has a very topical question and point to make. She says, "Good morning. Hurricane Helene just dumped and pushed a lot of water all over the place. That's to say the least." FEMA says 6 inches of water will reach the bottom. 6 inches of water will reach the bottom of most passenger cars, causing a loss of control and potential stalling. 1 foot of water will float many vehicles, and 2 feet of rushing water can sweep most vehicles away. Yes, SUVs and trucks too. The U.S. Geological Survey says that water 1 foot deep typically exerts 500 pounds of lateral force on a vehicle. If you're caught in rushing water, that will take control of your vehicle. That's why the staff at the National Weather Service and the Weather Channel say, turn around, don't drown. And by the way, I've seen some videos up in the Carolinas. It is apocalyptic. I'm not exaggerating. And there's one of these towns that I've been to. It's just filled with dirt. There's no roads. It's crazy. Sorry about that. These observations prompt the following questions about water and vehicles. Number 1, and these are all Rick questions. Number 1, what's the worst that can happen to the mechanical? I know the answer to this. What's the worst that can happen to the mechanical and electrical systems of a vehicle if one drives through very deep water and manages not to get swept away? And then there's only 2 questions, so remember that one. Number two, what can happen to a parked vehicle that gets inundated by saltwater storm surge? Can that vehicle be saved? And the last one is, can saltwater storm surge inundating vehicles cause batteries and EVs and hybrids to catch fire?
Okay, well, with the first one being washed away, that the idea of the water actually hitting a vehicle that hard, imagine your car is now moving 30, 40 miles an hour sideways in that water.
Yeah.
You have no brakes, no steering, no control, spinning around, whatever, and you impact the side of a bridge or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or a tree. I mean,
I think she said,
Yeah.
What if one drives through very deep water and manages not to get swept away?
One of the first things that can easily happen is water gets sucked up into the engine through the air intake. And as we all know, water does not compress. And an engine is basically just a big compressor.
Yeah.
So when that piston is coming up trying to compress it, the air mixture, and now it's full of water, it doesn't compress, and
gives.
something's got to give,
Yeah.
and metal parts break.
Okay, so that's really
So
bad.
your engine's destroyed, and normally, if you get that much damage on most cars, it's totaled.
All right. What about if it's inundated with salt water? from
Salt
storm
water
surge?
even worse, because the salt water gets into the electrical connectors, immediately starts corroding things. And one of the rule of thumbs that we had with the cars going back to about 95 was if the water touches the bottom of the dash, it has already hit enough computers and electronics
done.
that forget about it.
Totaled.
It's going to the junkyard.
And a little bit more particular question. And by the way, Don from LaBelle has a very similar question. He sends it in yesterday before the show. But Anne-Marie's last question is: can saltwater storm surge inundating vehicles cause the batteries and EVs and hybrids to catch fire?
I have heard one anecdote already that a Tesla that was parked in a garage where the salt water got in and flooded the car. As the salt water started going back down, the salt corrosion left in the lithium battery caused it to short circuit,
Or
catch fire, and it burned the entire house.
Okay.
So yeah, because that corrosion, it's not actually the water.
Right.
It's the residue that's left over, all the
becomes a
impurities
conductor.
that can short across the connector.
Gotcha. But the general
there
thing is,
goes-
whether it's a hybrid, gas-powered, or anything, do not let your vehicle get inundated with salt water. And if you're living up in the Big Bend area and the Carolinas in the South, I hope you protected your car.
Let me jump in there and remind people also that the danger is beyond what happens to your car and during these floods and hurricanes. What happens is opportunists out there that will buy these cars up.
Yep.
And there are a number of states that allow people to what we call wash the title. So you can buy a car that's been totaled, a car that's been in a flood, been in salt water, all these horrible things we were just talking about. You can buy that car for next to nothing. And because it's worth nothing, it should be scrapped. Then they take these cars, they wash them up, they detail them, and they take them to a state. Now, these are the states that allow people to convert the title into a real title as if the car were fine. New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Mississippi, and Washington. So there are 6 states.
Could you repeat those again?
Yes, it's New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Mississippi, and Washington.
Most of those got hit by Hurricane Helene.
Four of those states had serious impact from Helene.
Boy, that list got just a little longer.
Yeah, I remember
Then-
it being shorter.
It was, definitely.
And bear in mind, folks, also that say you've got somebody has a car that is off the road for some reason, or they don't bother going through the insurance company because it's just not worth the hassle. Maybe they didn't have insurance on it, and now suddenly that car is full of water, so they clean it all up and then they sell it, and suddenly you've got a car that is going to just be a nightmare. So the important thing to do, remember, every time you are considering a used car, have it inspected by an independent mechanic, someone of your choosing, not the seller's choice, and have them inspect that car properly to make sure that they, ask questions, make sure they know what to look for, to look in various places to see, are there any evidence of flood damage?
Another thing I'll point out, because this show is listened to and watched by people from all over, not just the United States, but from other countries. And we're in South Florida here. The studio for this show is in North Palm Beach, Florida. There's a whole lot of exporting going on in South Florida, out of the port of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. So the wholesalers buy up these flood cars that they can't sell in Florida, because Florida does have a good title law, and if you buy a car with a Florida title, you can be confident that the car has not been in a flood or a hurricane or something like that. So they take these cars that have been in floods and hurricanes and salt water and the rest of it, and they export them. So they go down to South America, they go anywhere, and they sell the car as if it was a good car, just like New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, Mississippi, and Washington. So that's what you have to be careful of. And Rick's advice, there's one thing you can't defeat, is a good mechanic that knows what he's doing to inspect a car. A good mechanic will be able to tell you, yes, it's safe, it has not been exposed to salt water, floods, etc. If you don't have, and even if you weren't worried about that, you should have a mechanic check your car out anyway.
There's
Absolutely.
one thing you can't deny, and Rick will agree. If you smell if there's an odor, there's an odor. Bring somebody else in on, your
If it
visit.
smells like low tide,
Low tide.
it's like
Seriously,
crab
folks.
shells.
By the
Flood-
way, Earl,
flood car.
Granny Tesla says,
Right.
congratulations on the Cybertruck.
Well, thank you very much.
And Kim Appreciates Life says she is jealous because she would love to get one, but her daughter's yelling at her and says, Mom, it won't fit in the garage.
She might be surprised.
Very much so.
Nancy and Earl didn't think it was going
Yeah.
to fit in the garage, and
We
Yeah.
took out
they
the
took a
tape
chance and they
measure
rammed it in there. It worked.
Okay, we're having a whole lot of fun here. I'm going to give out the. Am I interrupting?
No.
you? Are you finished?
No, I was all
we have
excited.
some callers backed up, and I'm going to mention that Zoom announcement we talked about this morning. If you weren't listening, if you're joining us via Zoom and you have a question, please use the chat function by clicking on the icon at the bottom of your Zoom screen, so that Jonathan, our producer, he can get your name and the location and information. Jonathan will chat with you and let you know when it will be your turn to ask the question. And for that, you win yourself the first two Zoom callers $100. $100. Jot down the Zoom number, 926-589-0586. That's 926-589-0586. We are going to go to the phones where we have a few callers, and hang in there, guys, and be patient. We're going to take Roadrunner Steve's call first. He's a regular from Boynton
Beep, beep.
Beach.
Good morning, everybody. I hope all our listeners
hi.
are safe
Hi,
and
Steve.
well.
Hey,
Good
Steve.
morning. I hope all our listeners are safe and well.
Roadrunner Steve.
Two articles. Tesla suggests that if one of its cars becomes submerged, it should be towed. Hello? I'm on the phone.
We got you.
I'm on the phone. You got me?
We got you.
Okay. Tesla suggests that if one of its cars does become submerged, it should be towed at least 50 feet away from the structure or anything combustible until a mechanic can inspect it.
Well,
Okay.
That's good advice. Good advice.
Okay. Now we're going to go back in time a little. I came across this article in Haggerty Magazine about old guys that have old cars like me.
Yeah.
Gates makes a fuel line hose called Gates Barricade MPI with 225 PSI. It's about the ethanol gas. The fuel hose might look good on the outside, but in the inside, the ethanol is wearing everything away on the inside. So that could cause problems going into the fuel pump and into the carburetor with that. So
Are you
they
saying
say
ethanol gas with ethanol in the gases on these older cars are causing these problems?
Right, but
okay.
Gates has a fuel line that prevents that. They have a chemical or something on. Well, you never know what you can believe.
Oh, it's like an additive or something?
Oh, I don't. It doesn't say, but it says if you flex the hose and if you hear cracking, the line is bad and should be replaced. In other words, if it looks good on the outside,
Yeah.
the inside is wearing
You want to
out.
have a supple line.
Always.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to
It's
check for
called
that.
Gates. It's called Gates Barricade fuel line. It's rubber also.
Gates Barricade.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, MPI, and it has a 225 psi. fuel
Did you try
line.
it?
Well, the funny thing is, I just changed my fuel line.
Oh, you got to wait.
into the-
How long is that going to be? You have to wait like 6 years or something?
No, I don't know, but I just changed the one fuel line from the fuel line into the intake on my fuel pump. I couldn't do it. I had to take it to my guy. He did it, and it took him like a half hour.
Oh, boy.
Right? So I said, I said the hose is. I'll wait a while to change that fuel line. It's like 12 inches long. But that's the update on that hose.
Hey, well, that's
So
some good information because I mean, there's a lot of guys, old car guys out there like you. So thanks for putting that out there for them.
Yeah, it also says cars from the 1980s and 1990s because of the rubber and plastic parts in the fuel system.
Well, I think like our 1937 Pontiac that we have, that takes leaded fuel, right? You can't put unleaded in it, or
actually, I believe that was when they redid the engine when we had it restored.
They've
They
changed
put
that.
in hardened valve seats so that it could use unleaded fuel.
Right.
However,
Right.
it's very, very highly recommended. Any old cars, you want to use a fuel called Rec 90,
right?
which is a
Motorcycle.
non-ethanol fuel, has no ethanol whatsoever in it.
I've seen that at the pumps before.
Yeah, it's
Well,
also recommended for
well,
marine
I-
engines.
Should we check the fuel line for how for cracky sounds in the Pontiac? It hasn't been driven.
As
in
long
a
as
long
that
time.
car has
Hey, we
been
have a
sitting,
caller on the line
there's a
right now.
lot it needs.
You and Rick are having a little chit chat here.
Yeah.
But it's what this comes down to is when they first started putting ethanol in fuel, it was 10%. Now they've increased it to 15%, and of course we have that E85 fuel available. And folks, if you see a low price on fuel, make sure that it's not E85. If you put that fuel in a car that's not meant for it, it will not only will the car not run properly on it, but that ethanol over a short time can damage the fuel pump, the fuel lines and hoses, and the injectors. So it can cost you a lot of money in the future. So always avoid that. Be very careful which fuel you're putting in your car.
All right. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Steve.
There you go.
Okay.
Roadrunner
I'm lucky.
Steve.
I got a Rec 90 gas
Clinton
station
Beach.
right next door.
Thanks
to
for
me,
joining
so I'm
us every
happy.
weekend. Have a
Okay,
great
thanks,
weekend, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.
We're going to go to Lantana, where Dan has been patiently waiting. Thanks, Dan. Good morning.
Morning. I have a question on the E150 F-150 Ford pickup that I have that has a intermittent air conditioning cooling problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it to my mechanic, and they put Freon in it, which only means there's a leak, and it's a slow leak. Been there for about a year.
Yep.
And the last two times I went, he mentioned that he was out of the 1234 Freon and asked if it'd be okay to put the 134 in. And he said other customers are dealing with it and they don't have any problems. I was in a hurry the last time to go to North Carolina the next morning, and I said yes. So on the way to North Carolina, I was having problems the whole way up, the whole way back. And it just does it whenever it wants to, on the highway, at the red light, or whatever, and not for any long periods of time. So when I got home, I took it to the dealer that it came from, and they did a 2-hour check on it. And what they wrote up on the report was the AC system has contamination with 134 and 1234, needs system replaced
Yep.
due to contamination oil due to incorrect Freon
Yep.
being added to the system.
Yeah. Somebody did you wrong, and they did you wrong badly.
Wow.
There's been many types of refrigerant that's been used in the cars over the years, and I will use the name Freon, but that's actually a brand name. Freon was originally R12, And that's on the older cars going back to around 92 to 93 and older. We used R12. And of course, it worked phenomenal well. It was incredible. The drawback to it was that when it leaked out, so much R12 in the atmosphere was eating holes in the ozone layer. So they said, no, you can't use that anymore. And everybody switched to R134. It's R134A, actually. And you could not mix the two of them. You could retrofit a system, an R12 system, by totally flushing it out and then changing certain fittings and then reinstalling the R134, but it ran at a higher pressure, so usually it would cause damage after years of use. And the oils that were being used could not be mixed. They would coagulate and destroy the system. Now in the newer cars, they've gone to this YF1234A. And again, you cannot mix that with the old R134A systems. The chemicals are not compatible together. The oil that is used will again start to coagulate, and it will plug up the system and destroy the thing.
Why is this stuff on the market, Rick? I mean, if it's illegal, where do you buy it?
Well, you can't really get R12 anymore at all.
Okay.
It's outdated. It's gone. It was the original history, but the reason I mention it is
North Korea
because
ships it all over the world.
you
sure.
couldn't simply mix them.
Yeah.
It's not like if you go to the store, say you have the oil changed in your car, and you put Mobil 0W30 oil in it, and then you have to put some oil in, so you go get Pennzoil 0W30. As long as the weights of the oil are the same, it's fine. But with refrigerant, you can't mix the two different types of chemical. It will ruin the system.
Wow.
And it'll cost you a fortune. So yeah, what year is your Ford?
2018.
Okay, a 2018, right on the edge, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that it was probably intended to have R134A, and if they put the other chemical in, the YF1234, they did you wrong, and unfortunately, you're going to have pretty much the entire system's got to be replaced.
You should
Yeah.
file a complaint, really. I mean,
Yeah.
you can start out with the Consumer Affairs Office or the Better Business Bureau or something like that, but you could also, if you got a friend who's a lawyer, just write them a letter because they're dead wrong and they've caused damage to your system and they should be held liable.
Yeah, they owe you a replacement.
Yeah, that's almost like saying, we ran out of gasoline, so here's a couple gallons of diesel to get you down the road.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
That is
you
a
can't
perfect
do
analogy.
That. Yeah. So yeah, they definitely did you wrong.
Okay, and I'll take part of the responsibility because he explained it to me, and I gave him permission to do it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just calling to make sure the dealer's telling me the right thing. And I went to him, met an AC mechanic after that, and he said he had never heard of that, and he would call me, and he hadn't called me back. So
Yeah.
okay.
Hey,
That's my question.
Donovan just corrected me here. He says an 2018 F-150 will most likely have the YF1234. But if you open the hood of your truck, look around for a yellow sticker, and you might need a flashlight to find it and read it because it's going to be small, fine print, but it will say on there what type of refrigerant should be in that truck. That'll verify it for sure for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'm sure it does, but I'll double check.
Thanks for the call, Dan.
Okay, thank you for the
Yeah,
information.
that was pretty interesting. Thank you, Dan. Our number is 877-960-9960. You can also text us at 772-497-6530. Remember, ladies, first two new lady callers, you can win yourself $50 this morning. And as far as our Zoom number is concerned, you too can win yourself $100. The first two new Zoom callers, and that number is 926-589-0586. That's 926-589-0586. And Jonathan's right here, and he's waiting for your calls. So take advantage of that number and the fact that you can win yourself $100. Now back to Stu.
Okay, I got a text here. Do I have a name? I don't have a name. Earl, you talk about, well, they didn't say Earl. It says, you talk about Costco's auto programs. I took these photos on 2 different days and have seen similar every time they change cars. Now, I forgot to send them to Jonathan, but they are pictures of new vehicles, looks like Toyotas, displayed at a Costco warehouse. And he's pointing to the fact that the Monroney labels are buried on one car, and the other one is neatly attached to the driver's side rear window. Costco doesn't sell cars just range discounts, correct? Can you comment on the show today? And I can. The Costco Auto Program asks the dealers that participate to display new vehicles at the Costco warehouses as eye candy or just for the display for the Costco Auto Program. And they ask the dealers to rotate the cars out. Unless Josh surprised me, ever since the inventory crash and the need to have every car we have to sell, we have declined to display cars, and I believe we are still not displaying cars at Costco. But what you're seeing is evidence of what we talk about on the show a lot, is that in the course of test driving and all that, people, at most dealerships that we see in our mystery shops, the Monroney labels, which are required by law to be on the car until taken off by the actual purchaser, is usually taken off, and it's on the front seat or the back seat or the glove compartment. And sometimes they're laminated and left there. Explanation for that, maybe they're demos, but the point of the matter is that evidence is also seen here at Costco.
But I think technically and legally, the law says that a dealer must display the MSRP.
Yes.
Costco is not a dealer.
But the car hasn't been. You're right. I don't think anybody's going to get you there because it's not on the. I bet you that's a thing. But what I think is, like, when that car goes back to the dealership, no one's putting that Monroney label back up. It's just it'll be there, and it's there. So.
Now, the Costco program is just the best of the best. The only problem with the Costco program, because a lot of people are new or listening to the show now, is that it's complicated, and you have to follow the rules. Costco members, auto buying club, or whatever you want to call it, if you're a Costco member, and you want to buy a car through the Costco program, you got to follow the rules. You have to go online. You have to find the car dealers that are approved by Costco. Then you have to learn the people in the dealership that are approved by Costco to sell you the car, the salespeople. And then you have to look at the Costco invoice, which is the agreement between the dealer and Costco of the price they will sell you the car for. If you do all those things, you will buy a new car from Costco for less than you can buy the car from anywhere else. It's the best program. Problem is, people just go into a car dealership and say, I'm a Costco member. Are you approved to sell me a car? And, of course, the salesman lies and says, oh, sure.
Yes.
And that's they get screwed. And then, but you got to follow the rules if you're going to buy a Costco.
Just real simple.
Yeah.
All you have to do is when you sign up, you have to read all of the terms of the agreement.
Yeah.
And before you hit agree. No, I'm just kidding.
It's amazing. And folks, give us a call. Do you think the Costco buying program has gotten a little more complicated? Do you mind following all the rules? Number here is 877-960-9960. We'd love to hear from you. If you're a little bashful, you can take advantage of youranonymousfeedback.com. Youranonymousfeedback.com. Again, our number is 877-960-9960. And I know I'm bogging you down with all these numbers, but I've got to give you the Zoom number also. And the Zoom number, that's how you can chat with Jonathan. He's waiting to hear from you. And that number is 926-589-0586. Okay, I'm going to
I got one
back
more.
To
I got one more from Jonathan over up in Palm Coast. City Kia in Orlando advertises on your station here. Okay, have you had an opportunity to do a mystery shopping report from this dealership? They might be as pure as the wind-driven snow, but their commercials lead me to believe that their deals are too good to be true. I'm sorry, Jonathan, we're forbidden by the station. No, I'm just kidding.
That raises an interesting ethical question. we love this station, and I flash back to our earlier station called Seaview Radio when we first started. And you regular listeners know what I'm going to say now, but after a few years of talking about car dealers, the car dealers in South Florida boycotted Seaview Radio and said, if you don't get rid of Nancy and Earl Stewart, we're never going to advertise on your show again. So we were off the air for over a year until a new owner came in and bought the Seaview Radio. And the new owner, before we even agreed to be on the show again, we had to say, now, beware that you're not going to have a lot of car dealers going to advertise on the station because we tell it like it is. And he said, no problem. So they have a lot of courage. Would we go after City Kia because we mystery shopped them and they're advertising on the station? I guess we would, but I feel kind of bad about it.
I wonder if just the fact that there is a built-in conflict of interest, that maybe it wouldn't be the most credible report in the world. I mean, saying everything, we have no connection to anybody else, but here we have, there is definitely a disclosure that we are kind of like, I don't think it's a good idea.
We'll have to scratch your head about that. No, I'm not saying we wouldn't mystery shop them. I think we probably should think about it.
All right.
I think we definitely should think about it.
I think I'm all caught up with all this, and I even checked your anonymous feedback responses, and we don't have any.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I know.
Okay, Rick, what do you have for us?
Right now, we're actually a little caught up because
Well, let's talk about buying the Cybertruck because we got Stu here now, and we had an interesting thing. Nancy and I bought a Cybertruck at the dealership. I keep calling it a dealership. It's owned by Tesla on Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach, Florida. And we've had that Cybertruck on order for over a year, and we were so excited. And Stu came over because he had to see the Cybertruck, and we all were excited about this really cool stainless steel.
He was kind enough. He was brave enough. It was quite an event.
let's just be specific on one thing. You didn't buy a Cybertruck. You bought a Cyber Beast.
That's true.
Well,
You get the
Because
beast.
Earl got the Beast.
Yeah,
Beast
the-
model,
Not the little one, the big one.
But here, the interesting
Rick.
thing, the interesting
That's
thing
my
is
question.
that
Top of the list.
the interesting thing is that we were all surprised because we had shopped Tesla before, and we gave them a good score. I can't remember the details, but they weren't unethical or anything like that, and there was no bait and switch, or there was no normal things, but it was a little sloppy. And we first of all, we were told to pay for everything and provide the insurance online, and it was literally impossible. I'm
Yes.
fairly sophisticated in terms of online stuff, and I even had the controller at my car dealership try to work the insurance and try to work the transfer of the funds.
It was
Their
really
online would not accept payment,
Right.
and it
was
would not
really
accept
amazing.
insurance.
And then you called upon me. I was really impressed, but that we became even more frustrated. It was just complicated.
Then they told us that we should be there to take delivery at 1 o'clock, and I got a notice that don't be early.
Don't be-
Now, isn't that unusual that you would think a person wants to buy a new vehicle and you tell them don't be early? So,
No, it's like a monsoon.
so we got there early anyway.
It's like a monsoon, and we wanted to leave early so that we could get there alive.
Well, how busy was the store?
Not when.
I mean, were there a lot of people in there? Or
No,
No,
they were delivering cars, but there
Well,
were
there
not
were
a lot of
cars.
people.
I saw cars like going in and out of the dealership, coming from the back. I think maybe those were service cars getting delivered.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
we
we
saw a
had
few.
we had to wait for quite a while, and a salesperson after half an hour, 1:30, or we'd been waiting a long time, and brought the Cybertruck around. And there was an excitement. We were happy. I'm not trying to say we were just excited about it.
Here's the cool part was, it made me feel like we were behind the curve in the way they did the delivery paperwork. So there was no box. we were standing out in the showroom, a big glass area, and he walked out and asked Earl to open his Tesla app, where he had already added the Cybertruck, and it was really neat. The Cybertruck was in a status; it hadn't been delivered to him, but it was kind of like there, and he began this process, and then it's kind of like, well, I don't know if this is good or bad. Sometimes we tell people to read. People don't, but in the finance office, but you basically, it's like getting an app. Earl's just agreeing to, I agree to all the terms, and I'm not exaggerating, in 30 seconds, the delivery was done.
Right.
And I had handed him the certified check, because we couldn't do the online thing before, and the insurance binder, but we were done. And then he goes, all right, you want to take the truck now? And we walk out. And it was very fast.
And then, Nancy, what did you notice? You said something when we were looking the truck over. You said something about the hubcaps.
Yeah.
Oh, the hubcaps and what?
It was all rusty.
I think
all the
besides
hubcaps were all
besi-
rusty. There were no hubcaps on it.
Before we even get to that, we had just taken ownership of the cyber, quote unquote, from Rick, the cyber beast. I didn't feel any excitement, any fluff, any
No love.
Love. There you go. And you said it.
It was a very dry.
The sales, that took, what did you say? 30
seconds.
seconds.
I would say, you know how doctors have a bedside manner?
Yeah.
Well, see, traditional car dealerships have spent 100 years trying to be the schmooziest, the whole thing as a show. And Tesla is kind of like getting a burrito at Three Natives. You get it on the app on the phone, and you press.
I don't even
pay,
think
and
I
that's
could
it.
take it that far. It could be taco. Well, I don't want to mention any vendors. I
Well,
don't
hold
want
on a second.
anybody-
There's more. You started talking about the rust on the hubcaps that you caught, and then you contacted Tesla about it.
Yeah, and there was a couple
They said,
of
we don't
different-
have any hubcaps. We'll supply those later. We'll send them to you. So
They said they all come rusty.
So in a few weeks or a few months or a few years, I don't know when they get the hubcaps, they're going to send them to me.
I like the fact that I said to them, what is the most asked question when someone comes in and they're getting ready to drive away in the cyber beast,
He said, what's the deal with those rusty hubcaps? No, I'm just kidding.
In case you want to call the show, by the way, so to hear about our Cybertruck, 877-960-9960. That's 877-960-9960. Nancy will stop what she's doing, stop what we're doing, and take the call immediately. Rick?
Yeah.
Donovan wants to know, how do you compare driving the Cybertruck to your Model S?
Oh, it's apples and oranges.
Well, yeah. I'm glad Donovan mentioned that. I guess Donovan knew this. I should have asked Donovan before we bought it. I thought that that the full self-driving, the autonomous feature was available in the Cybertruck, and I found out it wasn't because it's classified as an off-road vehicle, and it'll even float. It'll run through 3 or 4 feet of water, so a lot of nuts will take these Cybertrucks and drive them through the swamps and the woods.
And plot a course.
And the autonomous won't work in the swamp. So
It's the new Amphicar.
Oh my God.
and this is I hope Donovan is listening now.
70s.
This is the one I just don't get. One of my favorite features, and whether I'm driving a Toyota or I'm driving a Tesla or anything, is the safety features. For example, the proximity indicator. How many of you pull into your garage and you don't want to run into the wall at the other end of your garage, and you get a beep beep beep, and then you have either a visual or a audio indicator of how close you are to the wall? No such thing on the Cybertruck.
Really?
Yeah, and so I pull into the garage, and I got 11 people there go, oh, a little further, a little further, a little further. And wherever I park, the Cybertruck is flat in front, so if you hit something, you hit it. There's no bumper. It's just you're hitting.
Hey, Stu, you think that it was an event leaving Tesla on Okeechobee Boulevard and getting to North Lake
It was an
Boulevard?
event.
You should have come home with us. Get the tape measure.
But
Measure
anyway,
that again. Pull the car out.
That's
Put the
one
beast
for the
in.
books. That's one for the books.
Donovan says the full self-drive and the proximity alert will be coming with the updates at the end of October. So
I love you, Don.
You got
Why
about
don't
a
you
month.
guys, I think you guys should
I love
exchange
you.
personal
You'll have
numbers
it.
right now and
Yeah.
just text Donovan whenever you have a question.
Yeah, exactly. And one of my questions was, when do we turn the autonomous on? And then I thought to myself, well, because it was a monsoon, the cameras weren't going to be working
Oh, yeah.
because it's the view is deteriorated.
Right, so you were all
they call
manual.
it.
So were you driving manually?
Yes.
Yeah. It's,
We're gonna
yeah.
we're gonna have a contest between Google, ChatGPT, and Donovan.
Yeah.
And my money's on Donovan.
Well, we're not even sure. We've never met Donovan. Donovan might be an AI. He
might be,
could,
yeah.
He could be just a computer bot. It's
possible.
One other thing I want to add to the Cybertruck delivery to our listeners was
Cyber Beast.
Hurricane Helene was just grazing
Yeah.
us at the time, so it was heading up to, and it really had some damage. But we got feeder bands. And a big fat feeder band came over right when you got the truck, literally right when you sat in it ready to leave. Nancy got locked out in the rain, finally made it back in the car, and I followed them most of the way home, and it was coming in sideways like a fire hose. I couldn't believe it. It was one of the worst. I couldn't see anything. And
The
it
8
was
cameras
challenging.
weren't working on the Plaid.
Yeah.
And as far as your cameras, what do you have? What's on that, Rick? Is that 6 cameras on
Ask
the
Donovan.
Beast?
Yeah, that's Donovan.
Donovan, how many cameras are on the Cyber Beast, Donovan? Kim Appreciates Life says, rusty hubcaps, that's crazy. She says, I know a lot of Tesla Cybertruck owners and Tesla investors on X. I'll have to ask them if it happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. And they're not
Probably
available.
clone that.
They'll ship them, but they have them
Yeah.
available. Okay.
Well, it looks like they have 3 front-facing cameras, 2 side cameras, that's 5, 1 rear-view camera, that's 6, and 1 cabin camera.
One
So there
short.
you go, 1 short.
One short.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rick, what is the difference? Cybertruck, Cyber Beast.
Cyber Beast has the bigger battery and is faster. Faster acceleration and faster vehicle.
I hit the accelerator. I was going pretty fast, but it just doesn't have that draw, that impact that the Plaid has that just plays havoc with your neck. And it's the position of and the comfort of the seats and the headrest in the Cyber Beast for sure.
Okay. I think Marty just texted me, said he's waiting on hold. Marty went around the system.
Hey, I'm talking.
Well,
hey, Marty, I apologize. I got carried away. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for waiting.
You apologize.
Seriously, I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. Listen, I have a perfect way to get car dealers to do what they advertise.
Oh,
First of all, Palm Beach Toyota is advertising on TV for a $99 a month for a Corolla with a lot of underneath, fine print. What the Attorney General should do is make them sell it for the $99 a month.
I like that.
And I guarantee you the advertising will change very fast.
Right.
Well, yeah, you bring that up, Marty. I'm glad you did because Nancy and I were talking on the way into the show. There's absolutely no indication that Ashley Moody even made the comments about enforcing the law on September 1st. We've heard nothing.
Right.
And I'm even talking to my friend Jeff Weinsteyer at WPLG and Channel 10. I think they shut him up too. They exposed a lot of the crap that was going on that caused Ashley Moody to claim that they were going to start enforcing the law.
In September.
20-year-old law on September 1st. And
Yeah.
we've heard nothing about it.
I smell a rat.
The last mystery shopping report, I believe, included an Advantage package of a bunch of that same stuff added to the car sale. It was the
I'm
I
sure
don't
they could
know.
figure out a way to sell that car at $99 a month once they get the proper loan set up at 130 months.
right.
I mean, at 130 payments. And
that
You're
violates
all
the law.
good.
That violates the law.
Or $10,000 down.
yeah.
Well, that's in there. I mean,
Right.
that's what's in that fine print that you can't read.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, all the advertising that goes on in Florida is ridiculous. I
Oh.
mean, it's
Without a
meaningless.
doubt.
Now, I want someone's hand to get slapped real hard, and then see what
You know,
happens.
one thing I think about, maybe I should do this. I have these fantasies about running a full page ad in the, what's the name of the newspaper in Tallahassee?
Tallahassee Democrat.
Tallahassee Democrat, and attention Ashley Moody. Call Ashley Moody a liar.
Or just say
on
come
the,
to
on the full page
come
ad
down
in
to
the
Palm
Tallahassee.
Beach County, come
Yeah.
down to Broward and Dade, and then you're going to have some. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
I mean, what's that? We just have to go head to head, face to face with Ashley and say, "Why did you say this?"
She said I was only talking about Tallahassee dealers.
Well,
Yeah, it's really ridiculous because now I've noticed you don't do any TV ads anymore.
We do on digital TV right now. That's but we're not doing any cable or broadcast.
Yeah, well, you're too honest.
Well, no, we could go on there. It's just there's really it's a whole different topic. I don't want to bore you.
Yeah. All right, well, I think Ashley Moody should make the car dealers sell it. at that
I
point.
agree. Make them do it, and but they can't use any of the disclaimers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We need to play fire with fire. Thanks for your comment, Marty.
All right, have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
Do the same. Give us a call if you'd like to join us on our Zoom telephone number.
You know, maybe it's this. I mean, getting a printout of that, doing a screenshot, and mailing those, and maybe certified to the Attorney General, and to say what's the deal. with-
Agent Lightning actually bought the car in this mystery shopping report, so maybe what we should do is have her file a complaint.
Yeah.
And it would be.
Yeah, I mean, they added this recon. Well, spoiler alert, sorry. We have a mystery shopping report coming up in about 35, 40 minutes, so I'm not going to give it away.
Hey, Donovan says the Cybertruck has 9 cameras as a total. And the Cyber Beast, the reason it's the Beast, the upgrade is that it has 3 motors as well, versus just the normal 1 for the Cybertruck.
Like the Plaid has 3 motors.
Yep. And he says it's 0 to, Johnny Z. Friedley was asking, was it 0 to 60 in 2.9? Donovan says, nope, it's 2.6.
Ooh.
But he says also, you have to switch the truck into beast mode. Apparently there's some setting that you change that puts it into beast mode, and that will give you the
I got to get the
power.
owner's
2.6
manual out.
seconds, 0 to 60.
That's why your neck didn't,
Right.
crack.
Owner's manual.
And
Yeah.
Mark H. says, Earl, just go old school. Hang a tennis ball from the rafters,
Right, yeah.
and when your windshield touches the ball, stop.
Well, that's why I bought one.
Yep, there you go.
It'll be here today for coming by Amazon.
We've been talking about that for 19 years.
Yeah.
19.
Holy crap. It has to.
Ladies and gentlemen, 877-960-9960. Give us a call. We're having a real good time. Text us if you'd like. You'll need the text number when we do the Mystery Shopper Report. That's 772-497-6530. And there's got to be somebody out there in a Zoom club.
I do have some intel that came in. I can't reveal the source, but somebody used to work with the GM for City Kia, who's advertising on the station, is an old partner GM from Napleton. Ooh. So it's from the Napleton family of and he says he's pretty sure he runs it like an old school dealership. So, like we said, we're going to think about whether or not we're going to shop them or not. We'll talk about it.
God, I sure hate to be thrown off the radio show for another year, but
I know we have to balance. There's good and bad.
Yeah, we're doing so well. We're going to go to, Stu. We're going to go back to the phones. We're going to talk to Henry, who's calling us from Jupiter. Hi, Henry.
Good morning, everybody. You're talking about the Cybertruck.
yeah.
Yes.
I understand the attributes could be impressive. One, practicality-wise, I don't know that I need a beast, but let's talk about the looks of this thing. Now, that's something, I look at a Ford Cobra, and I go, that's a hot car. Or I look at an old 69 Camaro, and it does something to me. But I look at this Cybertruck and I go, for free, what I want one. So that's just another man's opinion.
Now, you either hate it or you love it. Now, think about this, and Rick Kearney put me onto this, and I'm seriously thinking about, Nancy and I will do this with our Cybertruck. You can put a mirror finish on that stainless steel. You can polish that stainless steel to the point where it will actually look like a mirror. And that, to me, would be startling. And
Sure would. To your fellow drivers.
Remember the Cylons from Battlestar Galactica?
Yes, that's what it would look like.
So that is something
You have a lot of options. The Cybertruck, the Cyber Beast, they're both pretty unique.
Yeah.
And, Henry, it just looks, it depends on what you're looking for, and what is going to satisfy that need that you have.
Yeah, right. No, that's why there's so many manufacturers, because everybody has a different taste. But I'm one guy that would vote no, thank you. Only on the looks, based on the looks alone.
Well, thanks very much, Henry. We're having fun with it. We'll. But if they don't get that proximity indicator pretty soon, we might have to go head-to-head, but Donovan says it'll be available, the software update in October.
Yeah, I can really say, Henry, that the inside of that beast is really comfort, and I look for comfort a lot, and I don't really have it in the Plaid unless I am behind the yoke. It really gives me the support that I need, but the beast is very, very comfortable, and it took me a while to warm up. I just looked at it and maybe a little like you and said, really?
Yeah.
So,
and I did see a review where somebody went through the entire car. Yeah, I think if the back is closed, you can't see out the back.
Yeah, there's a camera. There's a camera that functions as a rearview mirror, and if you're driving a car that's close to autonomous, which the Cybertruck hopefully will be soon, but the cameras are your side view mirror, your rear view mirror are really obsolete. The cameras are the name of the game. You get a much better picture, and it's much safer by looking at your cameras and looking at your mirrors.
yeah, it took me a while to break the habit of boosting myself up and trying to look through the rear view mirror. And then finally, when I broke the habit, it was, pretty comfortable eye view, both, the upper and the lower screen.
Have you looked at it at night? Did you use the mirror at night? Because on my truck, I use that camera mirror. At night, I have to turn it off. During the day, I can use it.
I haven't done it at night.
Really?
We haven't driven it at night
We
yet.
haven't been out at night. That's interesting. You said you had to turn the screen off?
Right. If it's a cloudy, rainy day, and you're looking through the camera for the rearview mirror, it doesn't work like it should because everything is not as defined, and it's the same at night with my rear view camera.
Yeah.
But during the day, when it's sunny out, I turn that on, and you get a wider parameter of view.
Well, thanks for that input. We'll be careful.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a good day.
Thanks, Henry. Have a great weekend. Our number here is, our Zoom number here is 926-589-0586. Did you jot that down? 926-589-0586. We'd love to chat with you. We have someone on Zoom, correct, Jonathan?
Yes, but I don't have his name or his name.
Okay, if you're on Zoom, can you hear me? Scratch your head if you can hear me. Can you hear? This is Nancy Stewart, Earl on Cars. Can you hear me?
He has his mute on.
Scratch
Yeah.
your head if you can hear me.
He has his mute on. He needs to take his mute off. He's not responding.
Well, let's move along to something else here. You folks that are regular listeners, we talked last week about the chairman of Stellantis. Now, for you that don't follow automotive closely, Stellantis is.
But I'm on my radio.
We have a.
I hear someone.
I saw a Zoomer. Yeah, there's a Zoomer. Okay, he's gone.
Hey, good morning and welcome.
I'll leave and go back.
Is this the first time that you've called?
Yep. He just dropped.
Oh boy.
He zoomed away.
Zoomed away.
Zoomed away.
He zoomed out.
Well, as I was saying, we talked about the chairman, Elkan of Stellantis, and that's Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, there's a Peugeot, Fiat. It's actually one of the largest worldwide. They're one of the largest automotive manufacturers. But anyway, he was targeted an $84 million seizure over tax fraud. And this is just, to me, a curiosity, because there's also Carlos Ghosn, Ghosn. Now, Carlos Ghosn was a previous chairman of Stellantis, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge. I mean, 5 years ago, they're the largest manufacturer in the world. Now he's hiding in Lebanon right now.
He might have to find a new hiding place.
And he's wanted by France. He's
Japan.
wanted France. He's wanted Italy.
Japan.
Where?
And Japan.
In Japan, right.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in jail in Japan.
Right.
And Carlos Ghosn. And then the thing that just cracks me up, he hid in a trunk.
Yeah.
Somehow he got from the Japanese jail
In a
into
cargo
a trunk. And they shipped him to Lebanon.
Yeah, as cargo.
Well,
And now he's in Lebanon, and he's still free.
Right. Maybe Israel might cooperate with France and send the IDF to get him.
he siphoned millions of dollars from car makers, and guess what he did with that money? He bought a 121-foot pleasure cruiser.
He's got 5 bathrooms.
Wow.
5 bathrooms on his yacht.
He can't use it though. I mean,
But it doesn't. I mean, am
get
I the only
seized.
one that wonders how someone could ride? It's like
someone with that character that could get that high
Yeah,
with poor character like that
yeah.
to rise to the
And
top.
then 2 in a row, because you go from Ghosn to Elkan, and they're both crooks.
Yeah.
There must be some sort of the interview process in Stellantis needs to be revised.
Or it could be, personality over substance, and he just bullshitted his way all the way up to the top.
Rick?
Donovan says the UAW is actually about to vote to strike at Stellantis plants in the U.S.
Yeah.
And Stellantis is looking for a new CEO when the current one's contract expires in 2026.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
They're also pausing production at several plants for both Jeep and Ram here because they have such a massive inventory that it's just not selling.
They got to
Yeah, they
stop
raised the
machine.
prices of the Jeeps to the sky because they were so hot. It was a year ago we were talking about why people are buying so many Jeeps, and they kept raising the prices. Now
we
they stopped buying the
They're
Jeeps.
having
We saw signs of it. We
having
had
a lot
our
of
mystery
problems.
shopping report. They were
Yeah.
giving them away. Remember, every time they'd
Yeah.
say, "Oh, we got 4 of these. We got 5
Exactly.
of these." Yeah.
Exactly. Not too long ago. Okay, we have a Zoom caller. So, with that said, we are going to go to Don, who's joining us on Zoom. I think you might call him a regular. Right, Jonathan?
Hopefully. Go ahead, Don. You're on.
Is that you, Don? You're frozen on the screen right now for some reason.
He is becoming an irregular.
Yeah.
There he is.
Hi, Don.
Unmute your phone, Don.
You can hear me.
Okay, now
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah. Wow. Cool.
Thanks for
What's up,
joining
Don?
us.
Okay, so I guess I'm an irregular. I listen to you guys in the car driving, and so it's kind of hard to Zoom or talk.
Oh,
on the
you're
phone.
zooming in the car. Wow.
Well, right now I'm at McDonald's, so I go out every Saturday and I end up at McDonald's for breakfast, and then I listen to you guys. But I'm the gentleman who 2 things who was in Spain for 6 weeks, and you guys sent me $100
Yeah.
because we couldn't communicate. And then I just sent you the thing about Costco on the text.
Right. Okay.
So,
That's yeah. We
all
talked
right.
about that.
So, yeah. So we're sort of up to date. I was gonna. Uh, um, Hold on. Let's see if I can find this on my phone here. I buy car. Well, I'm a Mercedes guy. Okay. And for the last 3 or 4 cars, I've special ordered them. So when they come in, there's no junk added on, like running boards or extra lights or whatever it is. But where they get me is in the leasing. And if I can find my lease, I can ask you documents. Here we go. Come on. So they tack on fees like I think it was like $250. Here, I got it open. Okay, so a title fee. Now my title was changed. It wasn't changed. It was the plates were switched from one car to the new car, and I lease.
Hmm.
So and they charged me $250, which seems uh, way out of whack.
Well, Don, one
Uh,
way you could check that is to see if they charge any sales tax on that $250. The true test of a junk fee, a phony fee, is sales tax. If there's no tax paid to the state on the vehicle, then that fee is a legitimate government fee because you don't
okay.
charge tax on a government fee. So you can double check them on that.
Okay. What would you think a Florida fee of 66.50 is and a tag agency fee of $199 is?
The tag agency fee is not legitimate.
No.
That is something that they pay a private company to do the paperwork for them. So they pay them just like you'd pay a salesman's commission. It's just an
Right.
expense to the dealership, but it is not a government fee. So that's a phony right there. They hit you with a junk fee. It's actually illegal in Florida. Because of the law, the Florida law says that you cannot sell a car and quote a price on anything that is not included in the out the door price advertised or quoted.
How much was that? Was Don? Was that a Florida fee?
Florida fee was 199. Oh, Florida fee, I'm sorry, was 66.50.
I don't know. It sounds like some dealers calculate dock stamps for some reason, even on cash deals, and they add it in there as a junk fee.
Well, for the reason is they're cheating because a dock fee
Is a real tax.
legally the definition of a dock fee is something you have to pay a financial institution,
Yeah.
and that's a legal.
Well,
legal term,
and
yeah.
it's a Mercedes lease. It's not an outside lease.
Yeah, well, there is Florida doesn't. There is no fee in the state of Florida that's labeled. Well, there's no legitimate fee in the state of Florida that's labeled a Florida fee.
Okay.
And if it was legitimate, it would have to be called the same thing at every dealership. So if that dealership has a Florida fee, well, they just invented something brand new.
That's what I thought. I mean, I'm going to the finance guy. I've had him twice in a row, and I'm never going to go back to the same guy again. He's just a weasel. On radio, I suppose I could sell him
You can say
something
weasel.
else, but the salesman I've dealt with for since 2002 or three, something like that, and I like him. He's a good guy. He lies to me. He says he only makes $100 on a car, which I
geez.
know isn't true. Which I know isn't true. But he's a good guy, and he orders the cars I want, and we get along real well, and what have you. And the service people, they're pretty good too for this dealership.
Yeah.
But my other question was, if I buy a car, okay, I bought it special ordered, it's come in, and if I don't want that car, they'll just put it into their inventory and sell it. It's no big deal.
Sure.
But if I go, can I go to a Toyota dealer and say, what would you lease this car for, or somebody else, or another dealer, and then come back and say, here's my leasing, and I want that car. If you follow me.
So you're saying taking the. I mean, so what is the quote that you have it on? Is it on a Toyota?
No. It's on a Mercedes. So
Oh,
I
that's
got,
right. That's right.
yeah.
No, another dealership wouldn't have access to unless you had all the terms, like the money factor and the residual,
Right.
everything lined up. Another dealership could plug that in, to their
Yeah.
little program and tell you what it
Right.
would come up
But
with.
I could shop leasing at another Mercedes dealer.
Yeah,
So,
that's and as a matter of fact, it can be time consuming, but if you can get multiple lease quotes from, there's not a Mercedes dealership on every corner, but there are several in South Florida that you could email, go to their website and try and get a quote on the same vehicle.
yeah, because
That's the way to do it.
all these guys can look up my car. Well, it's not my car because I haven't walked out the door with it.
No, but they can still
yeah.
lease on. They can build the car, so to speak. In other words, they know
Right,
the
build it.
MSRP, the make, model, and everything.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, okay, well, I appreciate the information. In about a year and a half, I'll turn this one in and get another one.
Well,
Um,
another thought is, I don't know if this applies to Mercedes. I just know that generally right now, the leasing programs are pretty weak right now. There's not a lot of incentives in general. You might find
Right.
that at a Jeep, you might be able to lease a Jeep pretty cheaply, but I don't think a Mercedes is going to have a great program, nor would Toyotas don't either. So
and every time they have an incentive, it's not the car that you're
right,
interested
it's the
in.
one that they can't sell. It's not the one you want.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Exactly. Hey,
But
Don,
I like this one, and it has it's not as autonomous as the Teslas, but it's pretty darn good. I went
Is
to
it the electric one?
No, it's gas.
Okay.
It's gas. I wish it was gas diesel, but it's
'Cause
gas.
they have an electric one, and then there is a big,
Yeah.
I don't know if Mercedes qualify, but there's EV tax credits that would be applied to the
Right.
lease. Man, there's a lot of stuff to look into, Don.
Yeah, but I was talking about. I went to Fort Lauderdale. I dropped my daughter off in the rain. Not yesterday, day before. I mean,
God.
it was torrential.
Yeah.
And I had the autonomous on, follow the car in front of you, et cetera, et cetera. And it worked. And as Nancy said, if the cameras go black, won't work.
Yeah.
But it saw through the rain, and it was pretty steady. It picks up the white lines and does a good job and keeps a distance from the car.
I think it's kind of
It's
cool
pretty
how
interesting.
car manufacturers are kind of slowly introducing autonomous, kind of under the radar.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
cars are
Well,
doing
this-
a little bit more and more. And,
Hey,
Each year it gets
Yeah.
better.
Don.
I've had it 3 years. Yes, Nancy.
I want to thank you for bringing some excitement to the show and encouraging others to give us a call. We have some Zoom callers waiting right now. So,
Sure.
again, thank you so much for
you're welcome.
your contact
Anytime.
and the
Try a
emails.
fish sandwich. The McDonald's fish sandwiches are really
oh,
good.
filet of fish, that's my
Oh, yeah.
favorite. I get one every Saturday afternoon.
You
Today's
do?
the
Yeah,
day.
well,
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks,
I've been doing
Don.
this for more years than I'm alive almost. But
Oh, boy.
But thank you for taking my call. I'll talk to you again.
See you, Don.
Thank you. We do have a Zoom caller, and his name is Dick. And I'm not sure whether Dick can hear me or not.
Yes, I hear you.
Oh,
He hears you.
Oh, great. Welcome.
Yeah, I hear you.
Welcome. We're excited to talk to you, Dick. What's going on today?
I've been an occasional caller in the past, and I was one of your, maybe the first Zoom caller back when you were having echo problems.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the $100. That was
Exciting times.
nice. Yeah. And I do you all through that agony. And this morning you spurred me because you got your Cybertruck, and I had one on order, and I think you may have mine.
It's possible.
Let me tell you why. Couldn't. They called me last week and said your truck will be here on the 26th, and you got to come at 1 o'clock or something like that.
Sounds just like Earl's.
I couldn't be there, so I negotiated with them. I had it delayed a month. So if yours is a beast and the gray interior with the road wheels, I think that might have been the one I was going to get.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty loosey-goosey
And
about
what color did
the
you
selling
order?
process.
I ordered the gray interior. There's a new option on them.
Okay. I think you guys have black.
Huh.
I'm not sure. That's why Earl went 15 minutes early. He knew he'd get there before you, and he grabbed the truck.
No, mine's been delayed until the last week in October.
Oh,
Timing's
that's
everything.
disappointing.
Make it. Anyhow, I thought it was quite a coincidence. And
So when you first got the notification, had you gotten anything else? Because I know that Earl and Nancy have been waiting, checking
Over a
checking.
year.
Yeah,
Oh,
but there was no indication out of the blue. It's like boom, 1 o'clock
Be there.
on Wednesday, go.
I reserved more than a year ago.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Wow.
The list. They called me up and said, if you'd like a early rather than waiting, I said yes. So I ordered the Beast and all that.
Uh-huh.
Then,
Hey, Dick, what colors have you seen on the road? And where's the location?
There's a lot of wraps on all kind of colors, especially if you go on YouTube and look at some of the Tesla
Yeah.
site. But I hope you all enjoy it. I'm looking forward to mine. And,
Well, you'll love it. It's a lot of fun.
I have a Model S also, which I've had.
You guys are
since
twinsies.
Yeah. And
Well, I'm sure
enjoying it.
there'll be updates every week because
No,
there's something new to
agree.
learn every time you get in it.
Yeah, I agree with
Exactly.
you on the auto drive. It's working great. It gets better all the time, and I use it all the time, and encourage others to use it.
Have you heard anything on when the full self-driving update might be released? Is there rumors out there?
Yeah, the rumors are October.
Yeah.
Really?
It's not a rumor. It's a fact. Donovan speaks facts.
I'm so happy for you right now. I'm very happy for you because when I heard him say that, I didn't react, but I know how you felt the moment you're like,
Yeah.
damn, I thought I was getting some FSD on the way home.
Oh, we got to stop talking about Tesla so much. This is going to be, we'll have to change the name of the show.
I'll get off. I just wanted to touch base with you and tell you I'm a S owner and a 2B Cybertruck owner. And I have a girlfriend named Julie, and she loves it. She's called in before.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
How nice.
That's awesome.
That's great. Hey,
the,
thanks for joining us, Dick.
And the other thing, I'm a retired engineer, and I'm 87 years old, so I'm no young chicken, but I love cars.
Look up.
87 years old? Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. You sound like you're 45.
Well, I'll try.
Out hot rodding around. That's pretty neat.
Anyway,
Yeah.
take care.
All right. Thanks for
too.
calling.
Right, bye-bye.
Thanks, Dick. Give us a call again.
All right, well,
Nice talking to these guys.
I'll call you when I get my truck.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure we'll have a lot of stories. for
Well, that's
you by
really
then.
cool. We've had 2 successful, very interesting, technically perfect Zoom callers.
Yeah.
We need to celebrate.
Well, all right.
Yay, Jonathan.
I have water.
Yay, Jonathan.
Salud.
There you go. Huh. And on a day we were reminded of the beginning of Zoom, and can I hear you? Can you hear me? Don took us down memory lane.
That's right.
Okay, I think that we're going to go ahead and go to. I'd like to spend a little extra time on that mystery shopping report.
It's a-
That's
kinda
for
long.
sure. You know, so we're going to go to Big Dog Ranch, where everyone is going to watch a video of Major, and Major is just so cute, a year old, and they call Major a dynamic canine companion. And you want to take a look at the video that we have to share with you. And also for the Dog of the Week, we pay the fees, adoption fees for you. And we put a whole lot into this and make it, available for you to adopt a dog. And right now there are so many dogs. They're so overloaded with dogs that they really need your help. So, excuse me, take a look at Major, who they say is just about a year old and is a mixed breed. He's so cute. Okay, let's go with the video.
Hi, I'm Thea. I work at Big Dog Ranch. This year is Major. He's been at the ranch for about a year. He knows all his basic commands. He loves to go on walks. He loves to cuddle. He loves to go in the pool. And he is a little bit dog selective, but nothing that a proper introduction can't fix.
Interesting.
Okay, so,
So,
how old?
In my records, it shows a year old. Then further down,
I like the way
they
his ears come
mention
forward like that.
young adult. They say between 1 and 3. Folks, here's something real important. As I said earlier, we pay the adoption fees. That is a huge help for you, and it's $200 And also, you can go to bigdogranch.org and you can fill out an application because they do a background check, and fill that out, and that'll save some time once you finally get out there and meet Major. Also, with Earl's book, Confessions of a Recovering Car Dealer, you can go to www.earlsbook.com, and you can purchase Earl's book for $19.95. And guess where that goes? All proceeds. It goes to Big Dog Ranch. We try to help out as much out there as we possibly can. So go to bigdogranch.org. You can take a look at all of the dogs that they have up for adoption, and it's even more of a thrill. It's starting to get a little cooler, kind of, weather-wise.
Spend a little more time out there.
Yeah, and you can go ahead out there, and you can take a look at my favorite place, Puppyland.
Man, just looking at a picture of Major here, he has got such a cute face. He's got sad puppy eyes, and he posed for his picture on the website here because it's a take me home face.
Yep.
Yeah, he knows. And the other thing I want to say is, like, all the dogs, if you adopt from Big Dog Ranch Rescue, you get it. The dog is microchipped, so if you lose the dog, it's found. It can find you, and they're all fixed, spayed, and neutered before you get them, and every health issue is taken care of before you get them. It's not like getting a dog from a shelter in the old days. In the old days, you go to the pound and you'd pick up a dog, and every problem that comes with it. So this is a better way to get a dog.
They put them through quarantine for a week or two before they even let them
You're not going
mix.
to have issues. You're not going to have a dog that. I remember we had a tragedy. It was a cat, but when we adopted a cat when I was young, and it had a disease, and we found out, and it was heartbreaking for the kids. And you don't have that risk with Big Dog Ranch Rescue. And Major needs a home. I'm just looking at him, and I'm getting tempted, so I'm going to close this picture and hope our listeners adopt him.
So go ahead out there and take a look at Major and all of the other dogs out there. And Major's favorite pastime? Snuggling. He just loves to snuggle.
Oh.
So you're going to have a whole lot of fun out there at bigdogranch.org. Okay, we are going to go ahead with the mystery shopping report. We went back to Essential Ford in Stewart. If you remember correctly, we were out there last week, and
We haven't done that before.
Yeah, well, it's because Agent Lightning decides she wanted to really buy a car.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about this. We've been talking too long. If you really, really want to get everything that can happen to you when you go into a car dealership, you got to go through the finance process. And the very clever, sneaky car dealers, they could give you pretty much clean-looking kind of a presentation until you get into the box. And the box is the finance department. And when you get in there, that's where they really pull out the screws, and they really can nail you bad. But to get into the finance department on the mystery shop, you've got to buy the car. I mean, you can't just go in there. Well, I suppose you could run, and say, I changed my mind the last minute. But we've been talking about this, and so finally we were able to do it because Agent Lightning really, really decided she wanted to buy a car for her son. And this is what happened. So this is real. Now, I might as well say this on the air. Nancy and I were talking about this coming in. This constitutes a legitimate purchase. And so, therefore, she has a right under Florida law to file a complaint with the Attorney General's office. And if I won't give away the mystery shopping report, which you'll hear in just a couple of minutes here, but if in fact there are violations, then Ashley Moody, the Attorney General, would be obligated to honor her word that she would prosecute. So if Agent Lightning decide to file the complaint, maybe that would be interesting to everybody to see what happened.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. So this is Essential Ford in Stewart, Florida. Did we find out last week
I was going to say, in case you didn't jot that number down, folks, you can vote on the Mystery Shopping Report at 772-497-6530. You were saying?
Did we say last week that we found out John Staluppi was a silent owner of the Central Ford? And a lot of people don't know who John Staluppi is, but we know because we go way back when John was a local car dealer. He had the Toyota dealership on Military Trail many, many years ago. He has multiple dealerships up in New York. His son has dealerships in the Las Vegas area, but the Staluppi Auto Group is a large group, and oftentimes the individuals don't put their names on dealerships, and this is you have to dig sometimes to find out who the real owner is. So Central Ford, we believe, is owned by John Staluppi. I just thought I'd throw that out there for what it's worth. Now I'm speaking in the first person. If I were Agent Lightning, my son had been looking for a used truck for several months. Finally, my husband found a 2018 Dodge Ram 2x4 with 97,000 miles online at Essential Ford in Stuart, Florida. Folks from out of the area, Stuart is my name, but it's also the name of the city about 20 miles to the north of us, maybe 30, and it's on the southeast coast of Florida. We happen to be in the area today and stopped by around 3:30 in the afternoon in hopes of seeing it before we let our son know and get his hopes up too high. I walked in by myself, noticed right away 3 salesmen and a woman wearing a name tag that said Anna sitting in a row near the front doors. I walked straight over to Anna, said hi, and showed her their ad, Essential Ford's ad, on my smartphone. I explained that it was the truck I was hoping to see, and Anna excused herself to go find the keys and saying she really hoped it was still there for us. A few minutes later, she returned saying she found the keys and would pull it around for me to see. My husband, who'd been waiting in the car, jumped out and looked, and we looked it over before calling our son. So this is real, folks. This is real. It's really happening. Agent Lightning is really going through this process to buy this car, so it's kind of cool. You remember how excited you were when you were 16 or 17 years old if you were fortunate enough to have a car at that age? I mean, you talk about excitement.
Getting a call from your mom saying, I think we found the truck for you.
Better than a girlfriend. I mean, get your first car.
They last longer.
Yeah. According to what was advertised.
Car's what got me my girlfriend.
According to what was advertised on their website, the truck had just arrived, and the price was $13,988. So, Ashley Moody, Attorney General of the state of Florida, are you listening?
Pay attention.
Wouldn't it be funny if she was? But anybody know Ashley Moody? We're doing a mystery shopping report.
Just text her.
And the advertised price is $13,988. And I think that Florida law says when you advertise a new car, in fact, Florida law for 20 years has said that when you advertise a car, you got to sell it at the advertised price. So anyway, I'm digressing a little bit here, but we're going to work on that. While we were waiting for my son, I asked Anna if she could start the process and give me a price. She agreed and went to speak with her sales manager, Austin. My son arrived just as he was talking to Austin, so I mentioned to her that I'd like to get the keys. As my son was here now, and it was about 4:20 in the afternoon, she handed me the keys, and she said she'd be right out. My son looked it over, popped the hood, and said he really liked it and thought it was a good price. However, he decided to let me handle the negotiation part since, as he put it, that's what I'm best at. Now, listen to this carefully, this whole report, because remember, she's doing a mystery shopping report, but by the same token, she's really buying a car for her son. How exciting, your first car. Emotion, folks, emotions are taken over. Even though she's a professional mystery shopper, Agent Lightning is being encompassed with emotion. Her son, forget about it. He's already encompassed. He's in a state of euphoria. And when people are like that, they do stupid things. and you get taken advantage of. So this is real. This is really happening, really buying a car. So we headed inside to talk numbers.
Oh, you skipped a paragraph.
My son looked it over, popped the hood, yeah. My son looked it over, popped the hood, said he really liked it and thought it was a good price.
I'm sorry. You read that. I apologize.
Okay. Apology accepted. So we headed inside to talk to numbers. My husband followed, saying he was just going to watch me in action, but he wasn't going to allow the monthly payment to exceed $330 to $350. I was also planning to trade in my 2008 Dodge Challenger to save a little on taxes and reduce my insurance costs. I'd already given them all that information, and they appraised that they gave us $1,000 for the 2008 Dodge Challenger. Anna bought over the first set of numbers first. The top line was the advertised price of $13,977. Ashley Moody, are you listening? This is the advertised price, $13,977. That's what you're supposed to sell the car for, okay? Then they added $1,595 for recon. $1,595 added to the advertised price.
By the way, that's about triple what the advertised recon.
Average recon is maybe $500 or $600, and you'll find out later this isn't really recon. Reconditioning is what we're using the abbreviation for. Then they added to the $1,595 recon $890 a dock fee. That's a flat lie. Dock fee has a legal definition, and those are dock stamps, documentary stamps paid to the state on a financed car. This car hasn't even been financed yet or established that it will be financed, and so they charge something that's not really a dock fee, and they add it to the advertised price.
And by the way, when you see dock stamps in a car deal, it appears on the contract,
Yeah.
and it's in
Full
the
material.
payment. It's not a line item thing on your buyer's order.
It's not even being subtle. Now there's also $99 electronic filing fee, another junk fee. So wham bam, we got three of them now in a row, and $54.60 in dock stamps. So they doubled down on the dock stamps. They got the dock fee, and then they got the dock stamps.
Anyway, they're almost $3,000 in add-ons.
Yeah,
Well,
2700 60 to be exact. The payment they proposed was $415 per month for 60 months.
Oh, here's an important part. The title, tag title, and registration was not included in the price. So that's another.
Tag title registration was not included. That's the only thing that should be included, and you can include government fees, but they didn't include it. They included the junk fees instead. The payment they proposed was $450 per month for 60 months. Now, that's a lot of months for an old car, and that's a lot of months to be financing a used car of that age. I told her that wouldn't work, and she asked me where I wanted to be. I said I wanted to be much closer to the $14,000 they were asking online, advertising out the door. My husband chimed in that the monthly payment shouldn't exceed $350, which made me mad because he said he wasn't going to speak. I bet you that made Nancy mad too, because she doesn't like it when there's conflicts there between spouses, which made me mad. Okay. I told him the monthly payment wasn't as important as the final price, and I didn't like the offer at all. Anna called for Austin to come over. My husband's a numbers guy. He estimated that a reasonable interest rate of 11 to 13% for a used car, that is, I guess, for an old car, that is reasonable today. And financing $15,000 would bring us to about $350 a month, doable for him. He was getting frustrated. This is real life. They're really buying the car. I repeat myself, I know. My husband walked away, but soon returned and sternly told Austin that he knows interest rates are high, but with our son's mid-600s credit score, he expected the rate to be lower, not a monthly payment of $415. That's a lot of money per month for a 16-year-old kid, for anybody. We explained to our son that You date the rate. I like that. You date the rate, not marry it, meaning you could either pay it off sooner or refinance later with no penalty. Anna was impressed in how we were teaching our son while still negotiating a good monthly payment. She mentioned that app, making sure the coverage wouldn't be too high. Anna agreed it was a great idea since they needed proof of insurance before we could leave with the truck. Unfortunately, the app timed out, so we had to start all over again. Earlier, Anna had gone over the charges, and I asked what recon was. She explained that it covered window tint. Now, whether this is out of being brand new or being,
Naive.
deceptive, I don't know. Probably brand new. She explained that it covered window tint, wheel locks, and paint protection. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but which they put on all their vehicles. I asked if these were already on the trucks since it had just arrived. She said she believes so, but would double check. Again, we give her a pass. She's only been there 3 weeks. When I asked about the dealer fee, she explained that it's how she gets paid since she works on commission. Now, again, is this naivety, is stupidity, or deception?
That's what she was told.
I don't know, yeah. What she was told, exactly. And that's right. A lot of times, salespeople, they don't want them to know anything. The more they know, some dealers will tell you, the more a salesman knows, the worse the salesman is. They just have to go and, like a robot, you program them, tell the customer this, tell the customer that, and if you got a robot, then you can really take advantage of the customer. So sounds like this is kind of what's going on.
That's why new salespeople, if they pick that up, they usually, not usually, but can sometimes become a superstar if they just start doing what the boss tells them to say.
Yeah. And then they start thinking.
Then they get worse because then they start thinking about what they're saying and they start learning how the deal really is, and then they stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Also had a new worksheet. This time the recon was $595, not $1,595. Again, who knows? Naivety, stupidity, or deception. The manager explained that the recon fee covered the process used vehicles go through to ensure that is the proper definition. Used vehicles go through to ensure there's nothing majorly wrong with them. Average recon fee is about $500. He said they had lowered the recon fee and increased our trade-in offer to help offset the interest rate. Smoke and mirrors, folks, smoke and mirrors. By this point, it was after 5:30 p.m., and we were still waiting to speak with finance, the box.
So they've been there over 2 hours already.
Yeah. Brian, the finance manager, had been walking back and forth between his office and the sales manager's area, probably thinking dinner's getting cold at home, mentioning that he was almost ready for us. He said he needed proof of insurance, which we had sent to Anna at 5:56 p.m. My husband left to go home. I stayed with our son. I was getting agitated that Brian still wasn't ready. F&I guy. He eventually came out and said my husband needed to sign off on the sale gift of the Dodge. I asked why, since my other son's name is on the title. Brian said he would need to come in, but I explained that my other son works out of state and travels a lot. Brian said, no worries, they could FedEx the paperwork to him. I suggested scanning and emailing it, but Brian insisted on FedEx.
Which is true.
Which is true. That is accurate. First accurate thing in the past 3 pages, I think.
You got to sign the title itself.
He also asked for a picture of my other son's photo ID and proof of insurance on the Dodge, which I immediately sent to Anna. There weren't any other customers in the building except a few people in for parts. The salesman even mentioned how slow Fridays typically are. I was getting angry and looking at Anna saying, would you mind checking with Brian because this is taking forever? If you don't, I will, and it won't be pretty. She agreed, and both she and the salesman said they weren't sure why it was taking so long. At 6:24 p.m., it is getting late, Brian finally said he was ready for us. He explained that the payment would be $373.98, including new plates, GAP insurance. Boy, they slipped that in there, GAP, and registration through December 2025. Once in his office, we just wanted to be done and leave. I mean, this is reality. They're buying the car. They're really buying the car. We were both angry and tired. After we finished, Anna was nowhere to be found, so I texted her at 6:42. She might be home.
Oh, my God.
Where are you? She didn't respond, but one of the salesmen said she was likely getting the truck. She pulled up around 7 p.m., and we started transferring my son's work tools and other items into the truck. I opened the passenger door and said, I thought this was big detail and filled with gas. Anna replied that she had cleaned it herself.
It's true, I bet. Yeah.
And that used cars only get $20 worth of gas. That's not a lot of gas.
No.
Not a full tank.
Not on a truck.
Nowhere near a full tank. I wasn't impressed with the cleaning job, but at that point, I just wanted to leave. I know I'm repeating myself, but they're really buying the car. I mean, I'm a little surprised that Agent Lightning, because she's, I'm saying the same thing. Why did she put up with this? She put up with this because it was for her son. It was so important to him. She's really buying the car. Right. And you too.
But can I also tell you something about Agent Lightning? She knows what's going on. Yeah. So when she sees that 1398, she knows better than anybody else that she's not going to wind up there. But she knows where. So she wouldn't start on a $15,000 truck if she wanted to be there. That's how they're pricing it, because she knows what the deal is.
But when it happened to her family and her, she rolled over.
Right.
I mean, it just it's sad.
Yeah, she did what she had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did what she had to do.
Yeah.
Well,
and there's a lot of people that are in that situation.
What she felt she had to do, and that's why car dealers can take advantage of you folks. I don't care how smart you are, how educated. I don't care. When you go into a new car dealership, emotion usually overtakes practicality and logic. And this is what happens. We finally finished up, and I texted my husband at 7:10 p.m. How many hours is that now?
It's been
4 hours?
Almost 4 hours.
Yeah. Almost 4 hours.
Almost 4 hours.
And there we are. Text my husband at 7:10 saying we're on our way home, and we're going to stop at the gas station.
Boy, she had a lot of patience over that period of time. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, does this number sound familiar to you? 866. 866-966-7226. Attorney General Ashley Moody. Is this, ridiculous? All these junk fees, all of this, just, it's not necessary. It totally isn't necessary. And Attorney General Ashley Moody, you could really get the ball rolling, Let's fight fire with fire. So, ladies and gentlemen, let your voice be heard. Give Ashley Moody a call. That number is 866-966-7226. And thanks, Jonathan, for putting that up on the screen. Okay, back to the recovering car.
Well, we got to have the votes.
Yeah.
And, this is a special report. If you just tuned in, we actually bought the car. Agent Lightning, our undercover agent, actually bought the car for her son. And we talked earlier in the show about the possibility. I can only ask Agent Lightning if she would agree to do this, but she could file a complaint with the Attorney General, Ashley Moody, because she was lied to. She was deceived. Mm-hmm. The advertised price was not the price she bought the car for. And so she has legitimate legal claim. And Ashley Moody has gone on record saying as September 1st of this year, 2024, she was going to enforce the law that's been on the books in Florida for 20 years. So it would be a perfect opportunity to take her to task for this if Agent Lightning would agree to file a formal complaint.
Yeah, Anne Marie has a suggestion. She says, FYI, filing a complaint with a government agency makes it a public record. If Agent Lightning files a complaint with Ashley Moody, it might make Agent Lightning's real identity public under Florida public records law. Just want to throw that out.
Well, it's a good point. Yeah, she's the funny thing is she is on the records of a lot of car dealerships that she goes back in second and third time.
Yeah,
and they haven't caught her yet. But
it'd be
There's always that chance.
A motivated car dealer could do that, but most of them probably don't.
Maybe Ashley Moody would send her name out to all the car dealers. Say, be careful of this woman.
Right. She's going to shop itself. Anyway, Anne-Marie says the lengthy delay, going back to the mystery shopping report, the lengthy delay sounds like a kidnapping. Deal sounds like Grand Theft Auto. Forget Ashley Moody, call the sheriff. And Anne-Marie gives him an F. You know, it's kind of hard because in the face of the new expectations that we've had, I'm really disappointed. It doesn't sound like on the curve, much worse than any other car dealership that we've, it's kind
of... we're getting ourselves whipped into a frenzy here, so we don't want to...
Yeah, I'm going to be realistic here.
We got so emotional, we don't want to fail somebody just because we got emotional, because reality is real.
I want to, just for the shop, I'll give them a C-, and but for having... for the grade for having a sense of self-preservation, an F, because... At least, they said you don't want to be the one doing it. Just back off. Maybe she's really not going to crack down, but why would you be so soon in the month of September doing this? But C-.
Okay. Over here on YouTube, we've got T Cash says FFF 430 times 60 months is double the already inflated price. We're going down here. We have Mark Smith says, I give this dealership a big D-. Johnny Fradley says, F for file that complaint with Ashley Moody. Cram 1624 says, F. I'm surprised a smart lady like this gave in. File that report. Brian Sidlatko, junk fees. Gets an F from me. Kim Appreciates Life says, F for fraudulent behavior. And for myself, I don't like the recon being added on after the advertised price, because I know for a fact that when you're inspecting a used car, every single one is different and going to get different things, whether it's oil change, filters, tires, brakes, windshield wipers, whatever. So that number is always going to be different.
Yeah.
Therefore, that needs to be in the actual price of the car, because you can't say it's like the tax or a document fee or something. So I'm saying D- because the price should be the total cost of that car.
I agree. Nancy?
Okay. Do we have any other votes that we need to
Let me refresh my screen.
discuss?
No, it stands the same. C-. What are you giving?
D-.
D-.
And I give them an F.
Oof.
I would expect nothing less.
There you go.
Well, I'll go with a D-. I think that's it's part of my score is the fact that I was disappointed in Agent Lightning.
But you can't
I know.
take it out on the dealer.
I know.
You give Agent Lightning a
Yeah.
you give her a
yeah. She made a point that we couldn't make any other way, that emotion can take control of anyone.
Exactly. It's not. No matter how prepared you are, you go in there and like with some of the plans, like the best plans or whatever, best laid plans, and it comes apart.
Important moments of his life. I'm not going to turn it into a screaming match.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to walk out of here. I'd rather be taken advantage of than hurt my son.
Right, and I think the child. I'm sorry, he's not a child, young man. I know he is a responsible young man and he's got a job and all that. But as a youth, he's sitting there. He's going, just come on, just buy the truck. Just sign it, Mom. Just sign.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she's a good mother.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but she rolled over because she loves her son a lot.
You're being tough on Agent Lightning.
How often do you think that happens? A lot.
Every day.
We need some laws on the books, and guess what, folks? We need them enforced.
That's right.
Give Attorney General a call, please. 866-966-7226. Let your voice be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. We certainly had a great time.